The following program does not offer personal medical advice. Please consult your doctor before using any treatment or product we cover. Welcome to Go to Health Media with your host, Jonathan Marks. We provide a welcoming environment where experts educate you on important health topics, answer your questions, and provide information from which you can benefit in consultation with your doctor. You can visit and subscribe to the show at gotohealthmedia.com. And now, here is Jonathan Marks. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Jonathan Marks from Go to Health Media. Thanks for being with us. Just in time for March, which is Frozen Food Month, new research from the National Frozen and Refrigerated Foods Association reveals a dramatic shift in how Americans are maximizing their freezer space. The study shows that 83% of adults rely on frozen foods for easier meal planning, with nearly two-thirds reporting that frozen food helps combat rising grocery costs. The study found that convenience and time saving are top priorities, with 69% of consumers choosing frozen foods for convenience and 60% for saving time. More than three-quarters of adults feel they have more meal options when incorporating frozen foods into their meals, and 61% say having frozen food options on hand makes eating a nourishing breakfast easier. That's quite a set of statistics for frozen foods. We have two guests to talk about this with us today. Jamie Gwen is a Culinary Institute of America and Le Cordon Bleu graduate. She's a celebrity chef, syndicated radio host, certified sommelier, and seven-time cookbook author. Wow! She is a featured contributor on KTLA Channel 5 in Southern California, also the Home Shopping Network, national news shows, and in print from coast to coast. She shares her seasonal lifestyle approach and her passion for food on TV, the radio, and at public and private events nationwide, and brings the best to radio with her weekly syndicated radio show called Food and Wine with Chef Jamie Gwen. She's been seen on the Food Network, MasterChef, The Talk, Martha Stewart, Emerald Live, Bravo TV, HGTV, DIY Network, and more. We also have with us today Carrie Taylor, registered dietitian. As the lead registered dietitian nutritionist for Big Y Foods, Carrie has had the awesome opportunity to watch the footprint of Big Y's nutrition program grow since launching the Living Well, Eating Smart program in 2005, 20 years ago. During her tenure, Carrie has received recognition for her impact from local and state dietetic associations, the American Heart Association, the Griffin Report, and Progressive Grocer. Trained in dietetics and sports medicine from Virginia Tech, as well as yoga, meditation, and forest bathing from Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health, Carrie promotes an embodied approach to wellness. Through her writing and media for the Be Well with Big Y program, Carrie aims to inspire others to live the life they deserve through food, physical activity, and mindfulness while connecting to nature. So welcome to the show, Jamie Gwen and Carrie Taylor. How are you today?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for having me as well. We're doing good. We're celebrating.
Yes, good. So March is Frozen Food Month. So tell us, Jamie, how are consumers changing their grocery shopping patterns in 2025? What's new?
Consumers are getting smarter. Isn't that wonderful, right? And I happen to love a statistic. So if you'll allow me, the latest research from the National Frozen and Refrigerated Foods Association shows a significant shift in how consumers are approaching their shopping. 83% of them are using frozen foods to make meal planning easier. 64% are specifically choosing frozen foods to combat the rising grocery costs. And we know that they are still rising.
Yes.
So what that means to us is that there is a fundamental change going on in America as to how we think about our freezer space, right? Now, the freezer is no longer just for storage. It has become a critical tool in our kitchens. And as Carrie will attest to, the frozen food aisle has come a long way. And why not March and National Frozen Food Month to celebrate it and to bring some insight into really the beautiful bevy of ingredients and prep and deliciousness that it offers.
Great. So while we have this shot of you with all the food in front of you, Jamie, tell us a little about some of these choices that people have, and then we'll get to Carrie.
You got it. Of course. These are some of my favorite creative ways to mix and match frozen ingredients, and some of my favorites, of course. I also have a toddler, a little one. Well, he just turned 5. So according to him, he's a big boy.
Yes, he is.
But I feed my family. Yes, he is. I feed my family. I'm a working mom, but I'm still very prideful of being a chef. And I will tell you, I use frozen foods because they're convenient, because they better my budget, because someone does the prep for me. And the frozen food aisle is not just what everyone kind of remembers from years past, right? You can find healthful things, as Carrie will attest to. You can find ethnic inspiration. You can find ingredients for me that do a multitude of purposes. For instance, my kid loves a waffle. I love to make them homemade, but we always have a waffle on hand in the freezer, and we use it for breakfast, and I make it chefy with blueberry infused maple syrup. But at dinner time, if I fill it with barbecue pulled chicken and I make it a waffle taco, he eats it up. Now I'm using that waffle to my benefit. Dinner's ready. I love a frozen dumpling. It's great pan fried, but it's also beautiful in a bowl of warm chicken broth with the leftover veggies from my produce drawer, carrots or, shredded carrots and some zucchini, scallions, ginger, garlic. Now I have this heartwarming soup that was made from frozen dumplings. There's lots of wonderful ways to use it up and to better, again, your budget and your time allowance.
Got it. So I see, what do I see? A pizza there, a brick oven pizza?
There are grand quality pizzas today. You'll find Asian inspiration everywhere. You'll find products that are ready-made for breakfast on the go. I am the superhero mom of my block because with my air fryer and my favorite frozen French fry from a company that makes it healthy, I read the labels. There's more regulations than ever. Right. I know what's in that French fry. I'm proud to serve it. I'm like the superhero mom because I can make French fries the fastest. I mean, there's just lots of good stuff everywhere. And choose what your family loves and use March as an opportunity to stock up.
Got it. And you're a chef. I mean, you are a major trained chef. You've got, you've got all these shows, and here you are taking advantage of frozen foods. Tell us about that. That you don't feel like you have to make everything yourself from starters.
No, and I mean, some days I cook 10 hours a day and I relish in it. Don't get me wrong. But next Thursday, I might not have time to make you a 37 ingredient Indian curry. Right. I do guarantee you will find a very good one from an Indian brand in the frozen food section. And there's a lot of reasons that I embrace frozen food. Like, for instance, frozen berries, they are frozen by a process of IQF, individually quick frozen, right? That IQF berry is picked at the peak of the season and it's sweet as anything. And all that's in the package is a frozen berry. But when the prices surge on fresh berries in the winter, I go to my freezer and I make a parfait with Greek yogurt, frozen berries, and granola. And the juice from the frozen berries seeps in and it's delicious. And I feel really good about it because that's the innovation of the frozen food aisle that I think has elevated all of us to embrace it.
Got it. So Carrie, let me come back and ask you now about nutritional value. So, for so many years, so many of us have said, oh, you have to buy fresh, you got to eat fresh. But I guess now with technology, tell us about the nutrition of frozen foods and how that's maintained.
Yeah, one of the exciting things to be able to do is give consumers aha moments as a retail dietitian. And I've been in my position for 20 years this year, and having that conversation about extending a food budget while meeting your nutrition goals and having a simple solution for putting a meal on the table has always been frozen during that whole discussion.
Oh, really?
And so to have people say, well, I have to buy fresh, I'm like, no, actually you don't. And that's kind of a secret for registered dietitians, is we stock up our freezer with single ingredient foods and even healthier versions of our favorite foods that we add other things to, because we know that the nutrition is there. And we also know that most Americans are not meeting very important food groups like fruits and vegetables. And those are two key categories in the frozen department that really have awesome selections and can really help you in a pinch. Like, I'm a single mother, so when we're building our meals, I'll say to my son, who is 11, so he's a little older, Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's our fruit? What's our vegetable? And we mix all forms. And so frozen is always the go-to in our family.
Really? That's very, very interesting. And Jamie talked about price changes over the year, so that if you stock up on frozen foods, you've really saved some money.
Yeah, one of my favorite comparisons is looking at a pound of green beans and having that educational moment of, okay, if you buy a pound of fresh, you are only going to have a certain amount of ounces, so a pound is 16 ounces, that you can have as an edible amount of green beans, because you're going to have loss when you're trimming the ends, and some will sneak in there that aren't edible, and so you lose about 2 ounces for every 16 ounces of fresh green beans. But if you're buying frozen, they're already prepped for you, you're getting those 16 ounces, and you're not really held to whether or not they're local, they're in season, there was weather issues, there was transportation issues. You have it right in your freezer. So when you're looking at, okay, we haven't had a green vegetable today, I need the nutrients from that, you'll have the green beans in your freezer.
Good. So coming back to Jamie, with 71% interested in quick prep options, what are your time-saving tips, Jamie?
Best time-saving tips, build a bowl. So please don't tell my son, but I use frozen cauliflower rice on the bottom of every grain bowl possible, and I let him fill it with everything he loves. And there are one ingredient wonders like that will allow you, as Carrie mentioned, to get dinner on the table, whether you're feeding yourself or your family, whether it was a late work night or a late soccer night, whatever it was. I think that there are one ingredient wonders all throughout the freezer section. I happen to love frozen vegetables, like Carrie spoke about, right? Somebody already prepped the peppers for me. The Brussels sprouts have already been pre-steamed. Now I can go cook them any way I like. There's a lot of benefit to that. And using your freezer to get there, to get dinner on the table, to feel satisfied, to feel proud of what you put on the table, to gather everybody together. That's my ultimate goal. Like, if I get to sit down at the table and eat, that's a win. And if I make my time in the kitchen easier, fabulous. So the freezer aisles come a long way. Make good use of it. The prep is done for me. Those grilled chicken strips that I buy, I look at the label, the package. It's real 100% all natural chicken. You can go price the chicken in the fresh department, or you can have it prepped for you, and it's my go-to. Is it 7 nights a week? No, but I will tell you, it comes in really handy, and especially at a time, as we talk about, with budget and convenience and all of those things top of mind, there's really a lot of good stuff at the center of your supermarket in that frozen aisle.
Great. So March is Frozen Food Month. How can families best take advantage of promotions? Are there special promotions going on right now?
There are actually a lot of special promotions going on right now. And interestingly enough, if you wanted an opportunity to see what was new, buy it now. Because during the month of March, not only do the grocers offer discounts for National Frozen Food Month, but the producers piggyback that essentially. So now's your chance. You want to stock up and save. I think that you should create a strategic shopping list, right? That's like focused on your versatile staples, the vegetables, the fruit, the protein, and then buy something new or indulge in something delicious or sweet. But you'll find special deals. You'll find bundles during March. It is the best time of the year to maximize your budget in the frozen food section.
Great. And Carrie, you talked about making meals for you and your son. What combinations of frozen foods? I mean, you mentioned fruits and vegetables, but are there ways in which you combine frozen foods to make a whole dinner?
Absolutely.
Tell
Yeah,
us.
so having frozen protein on hand as well. So whether we're going to use the air fryer for some frozen fish, or even having frozen meatballs and whipping up, a comfort meal like spaghetti and meatballs, or simple things like having a pizza, our favorite brand of frozen pizza, and adding vegetables to it and making sure we have a side of fruit, and that may be frozen pineapple as well. So we really, in my household, as a registered dietitian, we're always building meals by food groups, and we're always making sure that we're hitting different colors, and frozen fruits and vegetables help that, but the frozen protein also helps with cost savings as well, because you don't have to worry about things spoiling because you didn't get to it because you have a smaller household.
And when you say combining colors, tell us more what you mean about that.
So you want to have all the colors of the rainbow, and whether you're eating a fruit or vegetable, kind of planning your day that way. So like I said, with my green bean example, okay, I haven't had a green vegetable yet today. And that's kind of how we shop in my family, is like, all right, we're going to have yellow with corn and green with green beans. And I keep essential staples too, like white with cauliflower or pre-chopped onions, and just making sure we're getting a variety of colors, because those colors are going to give you a variety of nutrients, and every color has its own special, unique combination of nutrients and phytochemicals or plant-based chemicals.
Great. So we're coming near the end of the interview here, but before we leave, I'd like to ask each of you, what question haven't I asked that I should, or what message would you like to leave with the audience before we say goodbye for today?
Sure. I think the best message from a culinary perspective is to open your mind and just embrace the elevation and the growth of, so many aspects of your supermarket, specifically the frozen food aisle. We've really come a long way. The food industry has. The frozen food aisle is on trend with ingredients, and check it out. It might just better you. I think when we change the mindset of how we used to think about the frozen food aisle as a compartmentalized dinner on a tray with a plastic sheath, when we change that mindset, we really open up our horizons. I will personally say that my son has learned to eat so many new things by going and opening the freezer and being empowered to choose something that he wants to participate in using and cooking with me.
Wonderful.
And that's a beautiful thing.
It sure is. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Carrie, you want to share a final message?
I do. I want for listeners and viewers to keep in mind that whole grains are also an important food group, or grains, but choosing whole grains, that most Americans fall short on. And the frozen department has plenty of options out there, whether it is a whole grain waffle with a little more protein in it, so you're stabilizing your blood sugar in the morning as you get started, but also keeping in mind when you want to indulge outside of those food groups, you have sensible portions where you can kind of get that sweet tooth met without having a large quantity of treats. So just grabbing some treat to kind of hit that spot and then move forward. So there's so much to choose from. And as a registered dietitian, we know the frozen food department is the secret to our healthy living and eating.
Great. So we've been talking with Chef Jamie Gwen and registered dietitian Carrie Taylor about Frozen Food Month. If you want to learn more, you can go to a website. It's called easyhomemeals.com. That's easyhomemeals.com. Thanks so much for being with us today, both of you. It's been really fun learning more about frozen foods and all the variety and the nutrition and the savings in costs. It's great. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Good. And remember, everybody, you can see us on YouTube. You can see us and subscribe to us on our website at gotohealthmedia.com. And we're also on 8 podcast networks, so you can also listen to us there. So thanks everybody for being with here. We'll see you again next time. And remember, as we say at the end of every show, go to health. Take care, everybody. God bless. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in this week to Go to Health Media. Be sure to join Jonathan Marks and another health expert next time. You can also catch the program on your favorite podcast platform. Until our next show, be sure to visit us on the web at gotohealthmedia.com and elevate your life.